Japan's decision to procure the F-35 Lightning II was not simply a purchase of aircraft, but a statement of intent about the nation's strategic trajectory in a rapidly shifting security environment. For a country with a pacifist constitution and a nuanced cultural legacy regarding military power, the F-35 represents both a technological leap forward and a psychological transition. Japan today possesses one of the largest F-35 fleets outside the United States, and yet the public has recently been confronted with the unsettling claim that these aircraft have been operating for years without onboard air-to-air missiles. This has triggered a wave of questions across Japanese media, political discourse, and defense commentary. Is the F-35 truly a functioning deterrent or merely an expensive symbol of alignment with American defense doctrine? To understand the situation, it is necessary to examine why Japan committed to the F-35 program in the first place. From Tokyo's perspective, the environment surrounding Japan has become increasingly severe. China continues to expand and modernize its air and naval capabilities, pushing military aircraft toward Japanese airspace and entering the Air Defense Identification Zone with greater frequency. North Korea regularly tests ballistic missiles and claims advances in hypersonic weapons. Russia's military posture in the Northern Pacific remains relevant despite its commitments in Europe. In this setting, Japan sought not merely a fighter aircraft, but an integrated sensor and data fusion platform that would give it an informational advantage in contested airspace. The F-35 appeared to offer exactly that: situational awareness, interoperability with American and allied systems, and a multi-role capability that could evolve over time. However, for the Japanese public, the recent revelation that the aircraft had been flying for years without internal air-to-air missiles created a perception of vulnerability. People assumed that an advanced stealth fighter should be ready to engage threats at a moment's notice. The media reaction reflected a concern that the government may have oversold the combat readiness of the platform. Critics raised questions about procurement timing, cost efficiency, and operational prudence. The image of a cutting-edge aircraft with no missiles resonated strongly, especially because of Japan's cultural preference for practical functionality over symbolic display. Yet this perception, while understandable, misses a deeper operational reality. When an advanced platform like the F-35 enters service, it does so in phases. The first phase is validation, flying, maintaining, calibrating, and integrating data. The aircraft must be incorporated into national command and control systems, electronic warfare networks, and intelligence-sharing pipelines. From the Japanese Air Self-Defense Force perspective, the initial period of weaponless flying was not inactivity but network integration. Training pilots, developing maintenance cycles, and executing tactical simulations were priorities. Furthermore, in stealth configuration, the F-35 must carry weapons internally, and Japan needed time to secure deliveries of compatible weapons and complete certification and software validation for missile integration. The issue was not the absence of weapons in principle, but the timing of weapon readiness in the maturation of the fleet. It is also essential to acknowledge that the F-35 is more than a traditional fighter. It is effectively a forward-deployed sensor node in a broader defense system. When flying in contested airspace, the F-35 does not need to shoot first. It sees first. Its passive detection systems allow it to map threats without revealing its presence. It can feed targeting data to ground-based missile systems, to Aegis-equipped destroyers, or even to other aircraft that are not stealth configured. In a hypothetical engagement over the East China Sea, the F-35 may never fire a missile itself, yet still determine the outcome of the encounter by enabling other platforms to act with lethal accuracy. Its function is closer to a command relay asset than a dogfighting interceptor. For the Japanese audience, this understanding is critical because it aligns better with Japanese defense philosophy: efficiency, precision, and economy of force, rather than air combat bravado. There is also the matter of cost. The F-35 program represents a major investment, and although cost figures are typically expressed as abbreviations, in this analysis, they are described textually: tens of billions of United States dollars in acquisition, sustainment, and life cycle maintenance. Japanese taxpayers are sensitive to expenditures of this scale. The public expects transparency and operational return on investment. The debate over the missile readiness issue is, fundamentally, a debate about trust. Citizens want assurance that defense decisions are rooted in logic and national interest, rather than political alignment or bureaucratic inertia. Japan's pacifist constitution does not prevent defense spending, but it demands justification for every increment of military capability. At the same time, it must be recognized that the Japanese public is not blindly opposed to military modernization. Surveys and commentary indicate a growing awareness of regional threats. There is an emerging acceptance, especially among younger Japanese, that national security requires proactive measures rather than passive reliance on the United States. The idea of strengthening domestic defense capability resonates with a quiet but significant section of the population. And the F-35, once fully weaponized and integrated, remains a potent signal of deterrence. Its presence complicates adversaries' planning. It injects uncertainty into the calculations of hostile actors. Even if critics questioned early operational readiness, few would dispute its long-term strategic utility. Looking ahead, the F-35's role in Japan's defense posture will be transitional in nature. Japan is already working on its next-generation fighter project in collaboration with Italian and British partners. If that development is delayed, the F-35's importance will increase, possibly driving further procurement. But its ultimate destiny is to serve not as the single crown jewel of the Japanese air fleet, but as a bridge into a new era of network-centric, information-dominant warfare. Its success should not be measured solely by missile carriage capability, but by the strategic leverage it yields. In conclusion, the controversy around unarmed F-35s is a reminder that advanced military systems require time to reach full combat maturity. It is also a reminder that public perception must be managed through clarity rather than secrecy. Japan has not been naive or misguided in its F-35 acquisition. Rather, it is undergoing a careful progression from symbolic possession of capability to operational mastery. The Japanese strategic mindset values subtlety over spectacle, infrastructure over impulse, and system resilience over singular hero platforms. The F-35 should be understood in that context, not as an isolated machine waiting to fire missiles, but as a node in a comprehensive defense lattice in which information superiority is the first and most decisive weapon. If the Japanese public internalizes this understanding, the controversy will dissolve into strategic confidence. If the government continues to communicate the logic behind its defense strategy, the F-35 will be seen not as a questionable expense, but as a rational and necessary step in securing Japan's position in an increasingly contested Indo-Pacific environment.